Good morning. Hey, where's our witness? You may bring the jury. You may be seated, sir. Remind you that you're still under oath.
Yes, sir.
Prior to the trial, in an order dated October 11th, I ordered that there shall be no taking of photography inside the Charleston County Judicial Center. That order specified, it was addressed particularly to the issue of media coverage. It extends, however, to all individuals within the Charleston County Judicial Center, and there is to be no taking of photography of any court participants or parties to this litigation or any family members inside the Charleston County Judicial Center. There was a complaint made yesterday about someone taking a picture of someone else within the courthouse. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back. Cross-examination, you may proceed. Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Savage.
Is it Mr. or agent? What's the preferred?
Mr. Emmel, I'm a retired agent.
So I understand it from your testimony yesterday is that you've had a long history in service to our country and that you're currently employed in some capacity with the FBI and Quantico, Virginia. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Forensic examiner for the FBI.
Is Quantico where you all have the laboratory? And I don't think the jury's familiar with. We hear about the FBI in Washington, and we hear about the FBI in Quantico. Would you tell us the difference in what
Yes, sir.
functions are performed at the different locations?
So the FBI up at Washington, D.C. is the headquarters building. The FBI down at Quantico is threefold. We have the FBI Academy, we have the FBI Laboratory, and then we have the FBI Digital Laboratory, which is the portion that I'm involved with.
And in that laboratory where you are, there are educational courses given to agents working for the federal government as well as state and local agencies. Is that correct?
At the Academy, there is at OTD where I'm located at, not for agents, it's usually support personnel.
And, are you familiar with Eugene Grant?
Eugene Grant? Fred Grant, yes.
Yes. Grant Fredericks?
Grant Fredericks, yes, I
Is that
am.
his name? And what is he?
I believe he is a private forensic examiner. I believe he's stationed or is up in Washington, Washington State.
And does he teach at the academy at Quantico?
He teaches at the National Academy, which is an academy for local law enforcement. They come in and they learn some techniques and capabilities from the FBI.
And is he well thought of in the FBI community? He's the instructor for the FBI?
He's not an instructor. He gives a briefing on video enhancement, I believe, at the National Academy.
And he's one of the world's best, is he not?
That would not be my opinion, no, sir.
And, but he does do extensive work with the FBI and the federal government.
Not that I'm aware of. I believe he gives I think it's a half an hour, 45-minute briefing as far as I understand, and that's the extent of his capabilities there at the FBI.
Now, part of what the FBI does at the Quantico facility is to examine evidence obtained in criminal cases. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. My office brings in approximately 700 to 800 cases per year.
And the purpose of that would be so that the jury someday would have a better understanding of the facts and circumstances of what occurred that's alleged to be criminal conduct. Is that correct?
If it goes to court, yes, sir.
And in the case of Michael Slager, you made some examinations in early 2015 or mid-2015, then later in 2015. Is that correct?
I did, sir.
And the purpose of those examinations ultimately was for this jury that sits here in judgment of Mr. Slager's actions to have a better understanding of what happened that day.
I would prefer stating that my examination allows for critical viewing of the actions produced during that video.
Now, yesterday, you were asked by the prosecutor to show a video. Is that correct?
He showed the video.
And in the courtroom, there was shown to the jury, was it 3 videos, separate?
I think it was three or four videos, yes, sir.
Now, in your experience as law enforcement officer, have you ever worked on the street?
You'd have to define street. I was a federal agent, worked in security services, technical investigations, basically.
Did you ever patrol high crime areas?
No, sir. I worked electronic surveillance, so I usually worked in clandestine situations.
So everything you did in your experience in law enforcement has been thought out in advance of what you were going to do that day, and plans were made for what you were going to do?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So your knowledge of how police departments work, things happen quite quickly in the field. Is that correct?
Depending on the situation, it can.
And so if a police officer was attacked or was physically threatened by somebody, that does not happen in slow motion, but it happens rapidly, and nanoseconds are important in decision making. Is that correct?
Depending on the situation, yes.
In the video you showed this jury yesterday, it was shown that anywhere from 1/4 to 1/7 of real time.
Yes, sir.
So that this jury wasn't able to have the feel for the immediacy of the decisions that were made by Michael Slager on April 4th. Isn't that correct?
As I understand, the original video has been played for the jury. My videos are a breakout of the original video to show critical viewing, to allow the jury to understand the actions of the officer in those amount of seconds utilized during that attack.
That wasn't my question. My question was, the videos you showed are slowed down
Yes, sir.
and do not give an accurate portrayal of the quickness of the time in which to make a decision. Is that correct?
Yes and no. I did put the percentage of what it was slowed down to. So yes, it was slowed. It was not an accurate time in real time.
One was slowed to 1/7 of the real-time speed.
15%, yes, sir.
And one was slowed to 1/4 of the real-time speed.
25%, yes, sir.
Why the difference?
Just because of the action and the capabilities of what was going on, the amount of time that was recorded during that time period, and the speed of which those individuals' actions were taking place during that recording.
And whose decision was that?
Solely mine.
Now, in your video, can you show us, in the video that you introduced into evidence, exactly when Mr. Scott's hat fell off his head?
I would have to look at it. I don't think that was recorded, sir.
Can you show us on the video that you've given to the jury when Mr. Scott's watch fell on the ground?
I don't believe that was recorded on the video, sir.
Can you show the jury when Mr. Scott's wallet fell on the ground?
Once again, I don't believe that was recorded on the video.
Can you show the jury when Mr. Scott's cell phone fell on the ground?
I do not believe that was recorded on the video.
Can you show the jury when Mr. Scott sustained a facial injury?
I don't believe that was recorded on the video. However, there was an altercation between the two.
Can you show the jury when Mr. Scott's head was hurt?
I don't believe that was recorded on the video.
Can you show the jury when Mr. Scott sustained abrasions on his back?
Other than the altercation recordings that were viewed on the video, I don't know exactly when that was.
Can you show the jury when Mr. Scott sustained damage to his left forearm?
Again, the altercation was shown on the video, however, slight in time.
Can you show the members of the jury when he sustained injuries to his left wrist?
Again, the altercation was recorded in a very small amount of time. Those injuries could occur then or earlier.
You're not a pathologist, are you?
No, sir.
So we can rely on what the pathologist said when the injuries occurred?
I am not aware of any testimony, and I wasn't viewing that testimony, sir.
Can you tell us when Mr. Slager sustained injuries to his left knee?
That was not recorded on the video.
Can you show the jury when Mr. Slager sustained injuries to his right knee?
My answer stands. I did not see that on the video, sir.
Can you tell us and show the jury when Mr. Slager sustained injuries to his left hand?
Again, sir, I would say it's the altercation, however slim, that was recorded on the video.
Can you show the jury when Mr. Slager sustained injuries to his left fingers?
Again, the altercation is shown on the video, however slim.
Can you show the jury when Mr. Slager obtained injuries to his right elbow?
Once again, sir, the recording of the altercation has been shown. When that happened, I don't know.
Can you tell the jury or show the jury when Mr. Slager sustained injuries to his right thumb?
Again, the altercation is recorded as is. I wouldn't know exactly when that occurred.
Can you show the jury when Mr. Slager sustained injuries to his right middle finger?
Again, the altercation is recorded as is. I'm not sure when it occurred.
So have you enhanced that portion of the video
As much as it could be.
for the jury to see when all those 30-something questions I asked you were sustained?
As much as it could be, yes, sir.
And did you show that to the jury?
I do believe it was shown to the jury yesterday.
Now, what you showed to the jury yesterday, starting with the state's exhibit, before I ask you that, I think you told the jury yesterday you took 3 separate discs. Is that correct?
I recorded 3 discs for the initial examination, yes, sir.
And how many of those discs have been made available to the jury?
I believe that the prosecution placed 1 disc into evidence.
Well, it was your testimony. How many discs did you introduce for the benefit of the jury to see?
I believe it was 1 disc.
And in that 1 disc, you showed them State's Exhibit number 183. Can you take a look at that, please?
If you can provide 183 for me, sir, I'd appreciate it. Yes, sir.
That is what you introduced to the jury to see yesterday, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is there a photograph that was taken before that?
I would have to look at the actual individual photos that I produced. That's why the video was introduced. I put it into an MOV format so we can look at each individual frame as it was produced in a slow motion capability.
But we, in this sense, is the jury, not us, correct? It's
Yes,
for
sir.
the jury's benefit.
Yes, sir.
And you introduced 183, 184, 185, 186, 187, and consecutively to 194.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, in that time frame, from 183 to 194, can we see 194, please? How much time elapsed?
I would have to look at the video itself, sir.
Well, you can look at the photograph and you can see that 183's framed 397,
Yes, sir.
except you didn't tell the jury that. That's not part of the evidence you introduced.
So the images that I selected are the clearest images that I viewed within the video. Producing the video in an MOV format allows us to view each image individually using the arrow keys. I have requested that. I believe the prosecution's requested that playback several times. I do this in an MOV format as well as produce these images to allow us to have a visual key of what was going on that day.
Would you tell the jury what MOV is?
Motion object video.
So these still pictures, 183 to 194, that you introduced yesterday through your testimony, are actually numbered, correct?
Yes, sir.
And those numbers aren't on these pictures.
That particular one, no, sir.
Oh, well, let's look at every one of them, 183 through 194, please. And you point out to the jury which ones have the frame number on them.
I would have to actually look at the file number itself, sir.
Would you look at what the jury is looking at?
Yes, sir.
Does the jury know what frame number that is?
No, sir.
How about 184?
No, sir.
How about 86, 87, 88? Do any of them have frame numbers on them?
No, sir.
But the frame number is important, is it not?
It would be, yes, sir.
And tell the jury why the frame number is important.
So the frame number is specifically that image in a series of frames in the video. When I export the image, it allows me to place that frame number on that file number.
And in what you introduced yesterday, 183 would be frame 397, is that correct?
I believe I would have to look at the file number, sir.
Would you take the time to look at it, please?
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 183 is 397, the frame number?
If that's the file number that's listed on the actual
I'm asking
image.
you, sir, I can't testify.
Again, I would have to have the actual image and the file number itself.
Will you please get it and take a look at it and tell us?
If I can have access to the file, I would. That would be the evidence that I gave you.
Well, while they look for it, let's talk about it. 183.
Yes,
Two people are touching each other, correct?
they are.
There's contact, there's physical contact at that time,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes.
Then you skip from 397 to 405, and you show us then State's Exhibit 184. 184, please. So you have skipped, have you not, 98, 99, 400, 401, 402, 403, and 404.
Yes, sir.
And of course, if the jury got to see those, they would see that that touching continued at that time, would they not?
Probably, and that's why I produced the video and that capability to allow them to see that imagery in line.
But you broke down still shots to show the jury only what you've selected to show them.
I broke down the images to show the selected images that are clearer during that video. Again, the motion blur in this video is very enlarged. And so the clarity of the images were selected specifically to show during that time period of the video what you can see clearly in a single image. If I were to produce those images in between those frames, you would either get repeated frames or a big blur.
But you trust the jury, do you not, to be able to distinguish photographs and to examine photographs themselves?
Yes, sir, as well as the...
Everybody in their experience is taking photographs that are out of focus, right?
Yes, sir.
That's pretty common.
Yes, sir.
And certainly the jury has the capability to look at a photograph and make a judgment for themselves what the photograph represents.
Yes, sir.
For instance, the image before 184, frame 396. Do you have that, Frank?
Not with me, sir, but I can view it up on there.
We'll show you a document and see if you can identify it as being your work product, frame 396.
Yes, sir.
No question about it.
No, sir. Frame number's on there.
And that is the frame number immediately prior to what was introduced yesterday as States 183.
Yes, sir.
You have a clean copy, please? John, we ask that this be marked as defendant's next number, please. Well, let me choose. Now, we ask that we use this document without the handwriting on it subsequently for the proceeding.
Defense exhibit number.
43.
Any objection?
I didn't hear, I have an objection to it in its current form. I do not have an objection to it without the notes on it. If it's replaced with just a clean copy of the photo, I have no problems.
Understood. So, defendant's number 43 on the screen, please.
Excuse me. Is it that one? I have a
With-
problem with
without-
that. I have a problem with the annotated version. I don't care if the jury sees the photo, but if you would take a look at this photograph, it's got Mr. Savage's notes all over it.
What you're about to put on the screen, is it without your notes on it, Mr. Savage? Pardon?
That is correct. It's the photograph.
It's admitted without objection, provided it's the picture only.
So, tell the jury, if you would, the sequence in which this photograph was taken.
Okay. So the exporting of the videos from Video Focus Pro allow me to export images selected or in a group. During the course of this investigation, the initial examination, I exported a series of images, and I believe that was upwards of, just give me 1 second here. Exported 464 enhanced images during the course of this examination. The initial export of these images in the raw format do not have the information that you see down below, which would be the case number, lab number, and the actual frame number. Those are the uncompressed, fully comprised image exported from the software. What you're looking here is a contact sheet. The contact sheet was produced from those images, which allows me to place the case number, lab number, and the frame number on that specific image. Depending on how the defense and the prosecution displays these images, that would contain that information. They're exactly the same information, the same image, just different information down below.
Mr. I'm looking for the pointer. Does anybody know where that top is?
Here you go.
Thank you. So, for clarification to the jury, so when they get to look at these photographs, this image is an image sequentially prior. Let's go to what was introduced yesterday, please. The first shot, 183. If we had additional information here, the jury, when they review these, could see what the sequence was of the photographs, correct?
If that was a contact sheet image, yes. If you go back to the raw image, it would not. It would be the full image itself, depending if it was the cropped version or the full image version.
But the jury then could take these photographs, instead of playing 52 pickup, they could actually see which one came in which order, if they had this information.
If that was the contact sheet provided
Because
with them.
these numbers are sequential.
Yes, sir.
And while the jury can't tell this now, you can tell us, let's go back to the previous picture, please, that this picture came after the picture we introduced this morning.
If you were to look on the actual file number itself, it would give you the frame number itself, interlined with the contact sheet that would be printed.
Now, in State's Exhibit 183, we see contact between Slager and Scott, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the state's, the Defense Exhibit 43, please. We can see that it's blurry, correct?
Most definitely.
But we can still see Mr. Scott and Mr. Slager, correct?
Yes, sir.
And we can see that Mr. Scott is leaning into Mr. Slager,
I would not have an opinion with that because of the motion blur.
but the jury can make the decision.
Most definitely, sir.
And the jury can see whether or not Mr. Scott has his arm out extended laterally towards Mr. Slager, correct? I mean,
Yeah.
they can make that
The
decision.
jury can definitely make a decision on that. Yes, sir.
And they can look at the feet of Mr. Scott and Mr. Slager, correct?
Yes, sir.
And 183, please, stage 183. They can also look at the feet of Mr. Scott. They can look at his body position
Yes, sir.
in terms of Officer Slager.
Yes, sir.
And they can make a decision whether or not they think that the photographs that you didn't show them would confirm that there was bodily contact and that there were toe-to-toe feet positions between Mr. Scott and Mr. Slager.
Yes, sir.
Now, how many other photographs that are still photographs were not shown?
So I did a total of 4 examinations for this case. I have produced images of every image of every portion of this video, all of the videos, for this court case. What is used by the prosecution or the defense is up to them.
Well, actually,
I produced
you
the
don't work
evidence.
for the defense, do you?
I don't work for either one of them. I'm a neutral party in this situation, sir.
Well, let's take a look closely at State's Exhibit number 183. Can you tell the eye contact of Mr. Slager what he's looking at?
No, sir.
You cannot?
Sir, I have no opinion as to the actions within this image or this video.
Can you tell whether or not Mr. Slager's right elbow is in that picture?
Sir, the jury can make that discern themselves. I have no opinion as to the action of this video or the imagery.
You have no opinion that Officer Slager is unholstering his weapon?
No, sir, I do not.
Let's look at 184, please. Can you tell the jury if you can tell the eye contact where Mr. Slager is looking at that time?
Once again, sir, I have no opinion on the actions within this video. My testimony is solely on the enhancement that I did to produce this image.
In
Your
states,
Honor, Mr. Savage is testifying, the agent has already said he has no opinion as to what the video depicts. I think he needs to ask questions about what he did, which was his enhancement.
Yeah, Mr. Savage? Objection that you're testifying.
but
Do
it
you
is
have any response?
cross-examination, Your Honor.
I understand it's cross-examination. Do you have any response to the objection?
Yes, I believe my cross-examination is proper. I'm testing the credibility of the witness in terms of what has been introduced to evidence.
All right. And pose a question. If there's an objection, I'll rule. If not, we'll press on.
Does the Exhibit 184 give an indication of where Mr. Slager is looking?
Again, sir, I have no opinion as to the actions of the officers or Mr. Scott during the course of this investigation. I am limited to my testimony as to exactly what I've done with these two videos.
State's Exhibit 186. Did you give an opinion about that, Frank?
Opinion, no, sir. What I have done is highlighted the location of the taser, what appears to be the taser, behind the two individuals.
So the highlight that you did of the taser, could you have done the same thing to Mr. Slager, Officer Slager?
I can highlight anything I wish to in the video. I deemed it important to follow the taser as it was requested of me from the case agent within the FBI.
In 410, Frank 410, State's Exhibit 187, did the same thing?
Yes, sir.
And State's Exhibit 188, again, you could tell the position that Mr. Slager was holding at the time, could you not?
We could see clearly what's going on in that frame. The jury can discern exactly what's going on just the same that I can, without giving any due weight on my position or my capabilities.
And 189, State's Exhibit 189?
I am solely here to discuss what I have done on this image or the video.
But didn't highlight.
No, sir. I highlighted what appears to be the taser behind the two individuals.
And 194. Again, the taser wire is prominent in that photograph, correct?
Again, I have no opinion as to what that is. I was not there. I do not have access to the crime scene photos. The only thing that I have access to is this video.
So no opinion on whether or not there was a fight because you didn't show them any photographs of the hat falling, the wallet falling, or any of the bruises sustained by Mr. Scott or Mr. Slager.
Sir, I do believe that I
Well, let's take a look at those photographs, the still images of the fight on the ground.
Yes, sir.
How many of those did you show the jury yesterday?
I would have to go back and see exactly what was produced.
Would you do that, please?
Excuse me, Mr. Prosecutor, if we can have those images back up.
Play video.
That's not what I asked. Clearly, you wanted the jury to see in the still photographs the action of what was happening, correct?
So the images are the selected images that I produce that are clearly visible without a huge amount of motion blur. The video itself due to the action and the amount of time is what that I prefer to visually show anybody for the action during the contact between these two individuals.
So, again, what still images has this jury been exposed to so they can evaluate the intensity of the fight?
If you go back to the video in an MOV format, they can be exposed to every image in the video.
So the answer is none?
The still images that I produced for this were a depiction of the clear images or clearest images that I found during the video for this production.
Okay, do you have your image number 162?
Not in my hand, no, sir.
Do you have your image 158?
Not in my hand.
Do you have your image 131?
Not in my hand, no, sir.
Do you have the image 127?
Not in my hand, but if we get the video, if we produce the disc, we can clearly see everything that I produced.
Do you have image number 120?
Not in my hand.
Do you have image 89?
Not in my hand.
79?
Not in my hand.
71?
Not in my hand.
62?
Not in my hand, sir.
60?
Not in my hand, sir.
49?
Not in my hand, sir.
47?
Not in my hand, sir.
36?
Not in my hand, sir.
27?
Not in my hand. But both you and the prosecution have the disc with all of those images selected. If you would like to see them, we can produce them right now.
Mr. Emo, how do you know what I have and I don't have? I've never talked to you before today, have I?
No, sir.
You've never gone over your testimony with me, have you?
No, sir.
How many times have you gone over it with the prosecutor?
I believe we've gone over it once or twice.
So for you to say that the prosecutor has these images, you'd be correct because you went over them with him.
I have delivered those images to him, and I would hope that all of those images came to you as well.
So where is image 162, 58, 31, 27, 29? You have those?
I have them electronically.
All right. And how is it that we can go about getting copies of those so that we can show the jury?
The prosecution has the disc that I produced, specifically pushed in with my initials, case number, lab number, that I placed into evidence, and the market copies were given to them. Or we can go back to the enhanced videos in an MOV format and go to each image frame by frame and view them.
Can we do that?
Yes, we can, sir.
All right, let's go to the disc that you had then that would have those frames on it, please.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I would ask that the solicitor refrain from testifying.
You're looking in that direction, are you want the solicitor to do something or someone else to do something, or what?
Are you going to show the same?
I was just gonna ask you what you wanted me to show.
I would like to see what has been introduced into evidence in video format. I want to be sure I'm
Yes, sir.
correct. The video format has been introduced to the jury,
Yes, sir.
but it hasn't been broken down into single frames. Is that correct?
I have produced single frames of every image on this video. If we want to do it in a video format, we can play the original video that I produced in an MOV format, and we can watch it frame by frame by frame. It
What
will
I
start
would
on
like
frame
to do-
0 and go all the way up.
Mr. Abel, what I would like to do is to have the jury have an opportunity to see the single frames of the video
Yes, sir.
of the fight on the ground.
Yes, sir.
Just as they did these other single frames.
Yes, sir.
And can you do that?
If we
Where you
can,
are?
if we can take a break and we can load this system up, we can most definitely do that.
I think that's important, Your Honor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a break. Please do not discuss the case. we're going to have the witness has no capabilities of producing anything from the witness stand. All the displays are being produced either by the state or the defense. Who's going to show him whatever it is you want him to see?
I think the first question is, what does Mr. Savage want to show?
Well, whatever he wants to show, who's going to show it to him? So that's the first question. The first question is the one I just asked. Who's going to show it to him?
My position would be have the witness show it to him.
All right. So you're going to give him something to, you want him to come down to
He
do
would
it?
have
Or
to come down to the computer.
all right. Is that what you want him to do, Mr. Savage? All right.
So
Yes, sir.
my question is, so I've produced images, every frame of every video of everything that I've done. I believe that the evidence has been transferred between the prosecution and the defense. Do we want this in single image format, or do we want this in a MOV format, playing frame by frame? The MOV format has been introduced into court. I'm not sure that every image has been introduced in evidence so far.
I have no idea what is being requested.
This may help. I believe the disc is already there. Is that correct?
Correct. One of three is that.
Disc 2 is not there.
This two is not, this three is not.
And I believe disc 2 has the single images on it.
The images that I've selected.
Yes.
So if you want every image of every frame of those videos, you have that as well. That was done in the examination number 3 for this case. Every image has been produced. Now, we're talking upwards of 50,000 images that we're going to be viewing.
Correct.
Just be aware of that.
So, well, that's up to me to ask you what to produce.
Yes, sir, most
What
definitely.
I'm asking you to produce are the 14 still shots.
Those would be on those,
That you have done of the ground fight that have not been produced in evidence yet.
yes, sir.
14, not 50.
That is on the evidence DVD as well.
What would be the preferable way to use it?
All right. You're not under examination at this time. It's just a casual conversation. So you can have a seat.
Yes, sir.
You're right. If Mr. Savage has just 2 and 3, if he wants to introduce them, that's fine. We have no problem with that.
Do you wish to introduce disc 2 and 3, Mr. Savage?
You do intend to introduce this too, that's correct.
All right. You want to introduce it?
And we'll just do it instead of relying on state.
Or I will do it on the redirect if you want to do it that way.
So if you're offering disc number 2 in the evidence, it can be marked and admitted without objection.
And 3, 2, let's go ahead.
I did not ask for 3, I asked for 2.
All right. Disc 2 is admitted without objection. Will take about
Well,
5 minutes.
Before we admit it without objection, may I look at it and see if it's the same thing I got? Thank you.
I'm sorry.
You'll be in a recess for 5 minutes.
Yes, sir.
You can take a stand, step down. It's on the road.
Yes, sir.